In today's episode of random shit that gets posted on the internet, the acne positivity movement. In today's video, I want to share my real thoughts and opinions on it, as well as do a little get ready with me, because why waste the time putting on makeup if you can't share it with other people? It is June, Acne Awareness Month, so I felt it was very timely to discuss the acne positivity movement and how I fit into it and how I feel about it as someone who sometimes considers myself acne positive, but who also has slip-ups. And I am going to put up my hair so that I don't get some banana primer all up in it. And although I am not breaking out here on my face very bad, my back this month has been giving me a lot of issues that I am realizing are more emotional than they are physical. Just as a little update. I'm using some new products, so I'll do my best to call them out, but if I don't, I'll just leave them in the description because your girl is kind of over the whole glam makeup thing. I feel like having to constantly cover my skin for so many years when I was young got exhausting. And I'm to the point where if I use makeup, I want it to be creative. I don't want it to have to feel like a mask or like I need to wear it to cover my acne to feel good about myself. When I grew up, makeup kind of felt like a chore. It felt like something I had to do to feel beautiful or to feel worthy to go out every single day in life. Back then, I don't feel like there was any acne positivity movement at all that you could even have an opinion on. And before YouTube was really a thing, I would grow up reading magazines, seeing these girls who just looked perfect and just cover their skin to look even more perfect. And especially after being teased in school and replaying those words in my own head, like pizza face or freak of nature or exorcist or dirty person or Mount Cassandra, it really got to me. So I grew up covering these because I felt like I had to. This is a brand new concealer from Makeup Revolution, and I usually don't like the ones that you have to stick the wand into because it's just a breeding ground for bacteria. I know that they have antibacterial preservatives in there, I'm sure, because all makeup does, but I don't know. Just growing up being afraid of makeup, being afraid of not washing my face, being afraid of my pillowcase, it's something that sticks to me. So blending this in as we talk about how I did not blend in high school, I almost feel like I've always kind of been a rebel. I used to pretend to dye my hair. I used to tease it out so it looked really big. And obviously I never fit in. And I feel like me rebelling in that kind of a way was kind of like it was like standing up to these people and saying, fine, I don't need to be a part of your cool kids club. I have my own club. When really my own club was just full of misery and self-harm and judging myself in the mirror every day. I specifically remember a time in steel drum band. I was in steel drum band, totally. And two people, I'm not gonna name them, but and pointed to my chest and they were like, ew, look, Cassie has a pimple. And I remember exactly what shirt I was wearing. God, exactly how I felt in that moment. Everyone stared at me. And now as an adult, I'm like, okay, so what if someone stares at you? But like back then, I felt like my whole world, I felt like my whole world was kind of flashing before my eyes. Like, I wonder if I was having a mini panic attack. I get sweaty just thinking about it. But they basically pointed to this pimple and they were like, ew, why don't you pop it? And I was like, and I knew I wasn't supposed to pop my pimples. We started playing Who Are You by The Who. You know that song? Who are you? Ooh. We had to play that. So we were practicing and then like 10 minutes later, I excused myself to the bathroom and I popped this pimple. But it wasn't just like regular popping pimples, which I had done. It was aggressive. It was self-harm. It was painful. And then I just started tearing at my skin. Oh my God, don't cry your makeup off, damn it. That was like really one of the moments where I started destroying myself and identifying with how pain made me feel better, because that physical pain And like seeing the pimple do something, it wasn't good, it was bloody, it was nasty, but seeing it do something was better than doing nothing. I at least felt like I was partially in control. And it really took my mind off of everything else that was going on. Smashbox Studio Skin Foundation, I really love this one. And I think that's why acne still gets to me so badly today, is because back then acne was horrible. It wasn't represented anywhere. There was nobody else who had acne. And if they did, they were all hiding it just like I was. Literally all throughout middle school, my girlfriend was like the only one who suffered with pimples. And it was a really bad situation because even the other friends that she hung out with like hated me. So we were in like a group of 4 where I was only cared for by one person and everyone else hated me. And then by the time I got to high school, you know, your parents always say, oh honey, it's gonna get better. High school people are so much more accepting. Nah, man. High school, it just amplified because I carried my insecurities with me, but I also carried a reputation with me. And then my face also looked a certain way. And by that time, like I was knee deep into pain, hiding, not wanting to see the world, isolating myself from the world. Literally, I would protest going to school and I would try to fake being sick because I felt physically unwell, because I felt physically scared to go, you know, but your parents aren't gonna let you miss every day of school. And even then, I think there were maybe 2 or 3 people who had acne, but they were either in different grades and I didn't talk to them, or the one friend that I had was like MIDI who got it. And she had been on medication for her acne, so she took Accutane and it worked for her. So even though she kind of understood, there were a lot of times where I still felt really, really alone. So needless to say, high school was pretty miserable for a lot of reasons, many of which I'm not going to get into. What I am getting into is this Wander Beauty powder. I actually tested this in India throughout an entire day. So if you're interested in seeing how this holds up on acne-prone and scarred skin, we do have a video that shows you beginning to end, so you can see if it's right for you or not. But YouTube really saved my life. Back when I was in high school, I couldn't go to anybody for makeup tips. Literally, my mom was half covered in mud up to her knees until I was 12. She rides motorcycles. She's never had a manicure in her entire life. So I couldn't go to her for beauty advice or for help. The only woman in my family who was really into makeup was my grandmother, and she passed away when I was 4 years old, I think about 4. And then my other grandmother, you know, my Oma, she spoke Russian and German and Ukrainian and French and Spanish, but she didn't know anything about makeup or beauty. And so growing up, I never really had someone to talk to about that. I never really had somebody to guide me through some of those things that I wanted to explore. And that's where YouTube really came in, is because YouTube showed me other girls who were playing with makeup. And it was like this sisterhood, this friendship that I didn't have in real life, this kind of maternal feeling that I didn't have surrounding beauty in my real life. And instead of having a doctor prescribe me medications and shove pills down my throat that would make me throw up every day because I felt so sick, these are people who it took me away from that world. It took me away from J-Hall and the lockers and the locker rooms in PE. I would change in the bathrooms so that people didn't have to see my chest and my back acne. And it would take me away from the doctor's offices where they would give me medication and say, try this, and then it wouldn't work, and you would be back 3 months later, just the same miserable piece of shit. YouTube was like that savior. For me, it was X Sparkage, it was Michelle Phan, it was Ellen Blair Fowler, it was Candy Johnson, who, God, when I met her in person, I felt like we were long lost sisters. I don't think she knows it, but I owe part of my life to that woman. Her positivity when I was going through shit in the worst. I don't talk about it a lot, but I had periods where I needed to go to a hospital just to keep myself safe because of how badly I judged myself and things that happened. And it was people like Candy Johnson and X Sparkage that helped me get out of that headspace sometimes and just be in a more positive place in the world. But back then in 2007, 8, 9, 10, nobody was talking about acne. There was just no representation. Social media was just starting and like it was nowhere. The only time we saw acne was when Proactive had Jessica Simpson or Katy Perry up there saying, oh, this cleared my acne, I'm beautiful now. And that just made me feel like even more shit. And even once I started getting really good at my makeup, and even once I started kind of perfecting my look, getting booked as a model, started working in this industry, there was no representation. And even though I could cover up my acne so well that people at a casting couldn't see it, I still felt like I was living a lie. I was like, oh, the makeup is beautiful, but Cassandra is not beautiful. And again, it was always, you are told to go to castings with no makeup. I would show up with foundation every single time just so that nobody could see. And then if I was booked for a shoot, I would just put my makeup on and somebody else would have to do the blush, the eyes, the cheeks, everything else. By the way, this is cheeks from Pacifica, which is drugstore. This is the blush, which is really cute. And then this is Cover FX for bronzer. This is a really fun dual chromatic palette that they launched earlier this year. I really love these. And we actually gave 3 of these away in a Facebook live stream. So if you want giveaways of free makeup, we do them once a week on Facebook. Come say hi. You know, but even back then, inside of the modeling industry, I felt like I was just living a lie. And after going through years of faking it and being photoshopped and not considering myself beautiful, just considering the end product beautiful, again, at this time, there was no acne representation. There was no acne positivity whatsoever. And I had just gone through something that I don't like to talk about because it takes me back to a very bad place that also stemmed a lot of negative emotional stuff for me. Again, please keep in mind that during this time, I was trying to force myself into being someone who I wasn't. I was trying to pretend I was acne free, trying to pretend that I had the boyfriend, that I was straight, trying to pretend that life was good, that I was not self-harming, that I was not in this horrible emotional state. People don't know this, but I had been a teenage runaway for a while because of some of the stuff that had happened to me and how I processed that or didn't process that. And I had actually had a YouTube channel when I was in aesthetic school before my current YouTube channel, and I completely deleted it at like 35 subscribers. It was called Cassandra Cream Sheen, but it was all fake. And I had done a foundation tutorial on that first channel. My foundation tutorial was me saying, hi guys, I'm gonna go wash off my face now, going to the bathroom, washing off my face, turning off the camera, applying more makeup so that you couldn't see my acne, getting back on camera and saying, okay, so first I'm gonna go in with foundation and then powder, and pretending like this fake skin was my skin. And again, that's how like deeply ingrained clear skin to my self-worth I was. And that's why I deleted that channel, is because the very first one, Cassandra Cream Sheen, it was all lies. This is Becca, by the way. Everyone loves a Becca highlighter, but is it just me or do they always crash and break? I mean, I know that I manhandle my makeup. Come on now. Who doesn't manhandle their makeup? But Becca seems to be the one brand that A, I love the most, but B, always cracks on me. Anyways, when I first started posting on YouTube, I don't know if there was anyone else talking about acne at all. I couldn't find anything. For a long time, I was told I was the first. I was told that by Good Morning America, Forbes magazine, different news outlets who reported on this story, quote unquote, when I finally shared my skin. I don't know if I was actually the first, but I know that for me, I was not able to find anybody before me. You know, and the only time it was mentioned in magazines is like, oh, how to get rid of acne, like why acne makes you ugly, what to do instead. And even in the beginning days of my channel, I think I was brainwashed by the modeling industry. I was brainwashed by my own ideals of beauty. And I've said things in videos that I took down or that I didn't agree with. Because back then, I thought that the modeling industry was inclusive because I would see a girl of color, but not realizing that ageism, not having different age ranges, not having different religions, not having as many different cultures, not having people with disabilities, the modeling industry was not inclusive. And that's kind of why I ended up stepping away later in life. But back then, posting that video could have destroyed my modeling career. And I knew that. But I was so frustrated with feeling like a hypocrite and feeling like I was living a double life every day, because here's the insecure crying girl who's hurting herself every day and cannot get through the week without therapy. But when she puts her makeup on, everyone thinks she's put together. Everyone takes her advice. Everyone trusts her and listens to her. And I felt like I was living a double life. And that video for me, it was like self-sabotage. It was self-sabotaging my career. It had the potential to absolutely ruin me. But I did it because I couldn't feel like I was two people fighting living in the same body. And doctors had always told me, you're not the only one. There's other people out there like you who have acne. I was like, bah humbug, show me, right? Because there was nobody, literally nobody. But in my head, when I was filming that video, the thing that came to mind was, show off your BB shirt. Does anybody notice that I sat up like this to literally show off the fact that I was wearing a semi-expensive t-shirt because I had to prove my worth before I destroyed my image with showing my acne? But that video was me trying to reach out to somebody else and saying, if there's somebody else out here, please say hi. I just was sick of feeling so alone. And if the doctors were right, and if there was actually somebody else out there, I just wanted to talk to them. And you know what? It worked. Exposing my deepest insecurity and literally jeopardizing my entire career ended up starting this YouTube channel where we are able to talk about acne positivity, which again, we're getting to in a second. It kind of kickstarted this place where we are able to have open conversations about our feelings and not be ashamed of where we're at in this journey. And just learn about skin health and education and educate myself along the way, not only about skin and about makeup, but about how to approach life and how to respect myself and others in the process. And obviously that has been a journey. And within the past 10 years since that video was posted, we did start to see an acne positivity movement. And I don't actually know when the first time someone hashtagged acne positivity was. I would actually really like to find that if somebody wants to do some digging. I don't know. I don't feel like I can exactly pinpoint it. But somewhere down the line, it started to become okay to talk about our acne. Other people started posting their makeup tutorials. Other people started sharing their experiences. And I think a lot of it started to happen on Instagram. Again, Instagram happened many years after YouTube, but there were specific people who I still love, follow, and adore to this day, who would go on Instagram and say, my acne doesn't define me. My acne doesn't make me ugly. I can still feel beautiful. That girl who did Redefine Pretty, that campaign, that was a movement in the acne positivity space. And that's where it started to be like, okay, acne is something that we have, but we don't have to hate ourselves for it. And again, some people could argue that you've never had to hate yourself for acne. Growing up, my experience was very, very different. Okay, so I'm just, that's what I'm putting out there. This, by the way, is a palette from GRWM. I really love this. It's the Rose Gold Matte and Shimmer Eyeshadow Palette, and it actually has this dark black. My biggest pet peeves are palettes that don't have this dark color at the corner. But this is beautiful. I'm feeling a rose gold moment. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of warmth and shimmer here on the under eye as well. But for me, that's when some acne positivity started creeping up into my feed. And at this time, I was still struggling deeply with my self-esteem. Like if you look back at some of my videos, it was so obvious. I was trying so hard to prove my self-worth through any means possible, whether it was trying to pretend I was financially stable, trying to pretend I had the perfect relationship, trying to pretend that I wasn't depressed or self-harming or had been assaulted. Like, I lived a lot of lies that I am not proud of. And even when I got a manager for my YouTube channel, y'all saw it, I started promoting chapstick. Who the fuck promotes chapstick? I don't like chapstick. Like, obviously, I've discussed this in another video as well, but I was very, very lost. And I'm glad that life slapped me upside the motherfucking face. I was like, no, Cassandra, you don't behave this way. Grow up. I try to find the silver lining in everything. And although I would never want someone else to go through the experiences that I've had, I don't regret that they happened, because they taught me something. And at the end of this, I am proud of who I am today. Even if I have slip-ups with my back acne, I am proud of who I am today. And if it weren't for acne, and if it weren't for these horrible experiences, and if it weren't for all this stuff that I had to go through, I wouldn't be this person. And I get to be grateful for that. Also, does anybody else just keep all of their makeup on the floor? This is totally normal, right? Totally. I'm gonna do a little pop of this gold color. This is Tetris Life from Ipsy. Do you see this? I've never seen a more gold than this. I'm gonna do a little bit of this on my inner corner, just to make me feel special. So when acne positivity started like coming out on YouTube, I loved it. The problem was I saw all of these other people as beautiful, but I couldn't translate that to myself. I mean, through the past 5 years at this point, I had been posting YouTube videos about acne, again, trying to prove myself, but really accepting other people. I never had a problem with anyone else's acne, and I never saw other people with acne as ugly. I never saw other people that were gay as sinful or horrible. But yet, when I looked at myself, I projected all of this negativity, this unworthiness, just these horrible emotions onto myself that I never pushed on others. And so while the acne positivity movement was taking off and while it was amazing, I couldn't translate that to myself. It was always, that's amazing, that acne doesn't define her, but I was still letting it define me. My lips are a little dry, so I'm going to apply a lip balm. This is from Bite Beauty. This is actually brand new. It's called the Bite Beauty Daytime Lip Balm. I think it's got agave in it. It's got mono-go-no-go oil. I don't know what mono-go-no-go oil is, but I will have to look this up. It's called the Agave Plus. Looks pretty good. Ooh, this feels buttery. I like-y. I should have done this before my foundation so that my foundation doesn't like crap up my lips. Oh my God, this feels gorgeous. Oh, I love this. I could see myself using way too much of this though. It goes fast. Oh, that is like vegan butter. Give it to me. That's good. This is good. I like this. But when I was seeing these other people embrace themselves, and as I could see them as beautiful, just not myself, that was kind of that moment that I came to the point of saying, Cassandra, you could hurt yourself, you could hate yourself every single day and wait for someday to be happy, or you can choose to face what's going on right now, don't deny it, but be okay with it, and realize that you can still work on making things better, but you don't have to be miserable and hiding in the meantime. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to hurt yourself all the time. And I have been self-harm free, when would that have been? 2016, I think? I believe 2016. It was really bad in like 2014, 2015. That was horrible. And then 2007, 8, 9. High school was horrible too. But I basically came to this conclusion that I can hurt myself and hate myself forever. And life will just go on the way it is, and I'll still be sad and miserable. Or I could try to choose to love myself. Take what I was learning from therapy and try to extend the compassion that I had for other people and other animals, and try to extend that to myself. And it was not an easy process, but it started to work. And for me, that was acne positivity. It wasn't saying acne is okay for me. It wasn't accepting the fact that I had acne and not wanting to change it. For me, that moment of acne positivity was saying, I have this, but it's okay for me to do something about it. It's okay for me to go through this process. And I don't have to hate myself as I try to make myself a better person. I don't have to judge myself for my mistakes or my past. When it comes to the acne positivity movement today, I have noticed that there is a really beautiful narrative of people feeling empowered, of people sharing stories, of people opening up and just being humans about this, recognizing it's a part of our biology and we don't have to feel ashamed. And I think that that is the most amazing thing. And it is supportive, and it is beautiful, and it is accepting and welcoming, and finally, it is a safe place for us to talk about our skin and to find other people who respect us so that we can fight back and say, no, this does not define me. The one problem that I have is that I've personally struggled with is what happens when I slip up. What happens when I look at myself in the mirror, I've been clear for a little while, and I'm breaking out? And what happens when I do feel upset about that? When it brings me back to that deep, dark place? That's upsetting, because I'm supposed to be acne positive. I'm supposed to have come all this way. But the acne positivity movement doesn't prepare you to have those slip-ups. It says, you should feel confident with your acne. You shouldn't let your acne define you. And I'm like, damn right, I shouldn't let my acne define me. But then you slip up, and there's a day that it does. And then, at least for me, I almost feel like I don't belong in that movement anymore. I'm acne positive. I can go out with a backless dress and feel great. But you know what? There are some days that it gets me down. How am I supposed to process that? How am I supposed to not let that drag me back into a deep, dark place? You know? And then applying makeup. If I'm having a breakout and I choose to put on concealer, does that not make me acne positive anymore? Because I'm going from being somewhere of, this doesn't define me, to, I need to conceal this. And again, is it I choose to conceal this or I need to conceal this? I truly wonder if I am concealing acne for and my scars for myself, or is it for society? Is it for an external reason? Is it because I truly feel better that way? And if so, why? If I lived in the woods or in the ocean like a mermaid and no one ever saw me, would I still cover my acne? Would I care so much? Would I even have a mirror to judge myself in, right? And so even though makeup is totally empowering and it's a creative form of expression, I do sometimes wonder how acne positive I actually am. And again, the acne positivity movement, as much as I love it and as much as I consider myself a part of it, I don't think there is that gray zone for, well, what if we do want to wear makeup? It's like, okay, well, if you do wear makeup, you're no longer acne positive. You're just living a lie, you know? And I guess I don't know the definition of acne positive. And even though I've defined that for myself, it doesn't match what other people say. And again, I think that this acne positivity movement needs to grow. I think that it needs to be more widely recognized. I think that we all need to come to a place where we can learn not to judge ourselves and not to judge others. But if there's a gray zone there, how do we navigate that? How do we straddle that? How is it okay to have the bad days and to not be told, well, you're not acne positive then if you're wearing makeup. Oh, you feel bad about your breakout? You just aren't acne positive like you claim to be. How do I manage that? This is the Tarte Easy on the Eyes eyeliner in brown, by the way. I find these browns and reds really make green eyes pop. They're across from each other on the color wheel. I like the way they make me look. But again, is that a bad thing that I like the way they make me look? Is it because I truly enjoy that, or is it because that's what I've been conditioned by the media to like, or I've been told about? I don't know anymore. But with the acne positivity movement, I don't know, at least in my experience, when I've had those moments, I just don't feel as supported. I feel pushed out. I feel discredited. I feel like I don't belong. And that's tough. This is like the most uneco-friendly packaging I've ever seen for a mascara, but it is from Too Faced. It's brand new. It's called the Damn Girl Mascara. Makes me say tee-hee-hee-hee. The acne positivity movement is a great thing, but it almost in certain places kind of feels culty. and I've never spoken about this publicly. I actually have a page of acne warriors. I am actually part of a group that I created called Acne Warriors. It's completely private, and it's literally only select people who are invited in. But it's a place that I feel safe and that we can talk about acne positivity. But we can also talk about acne treatments. We can also talk about skincare. We can also talk about the days that we want to love ourselves, but we feel insecure because of a breakout. And like, honestly, that's become one of the only places that I feel safe talking about certain things. Because in YouTube videos, I'm not gonna lie, some of the comments can be judgy, and I know not to let those stick to me, but I'm human, and at the end of the day, it still hurts. And even on Instagram, if I'm not like actively participating in a conversation, but I'm just kind of seeing them, it's still this idea of, well, if you're acne positive, you just shouldn't have setbacks. You should just be confident. Just be confident. Just snap out of it. And I feel like that's always the rhetoric. And I feel like I've tried to do that. And I feel like I've even pushed that on other people before. I've just been like, oh, think positive. Just snap out of it. But it's not always that easy. It's not always that simple. And it's not always that fun. And even as I sit here applying makeup, I'm like, okay, does this validate me? Does this make me feel attractive? Like, why do we do this as women, as men, as anybody, as gender non-binary people? Why do we fixate on this? And again, I love skincare. Skincare for me has become empowering. I love the chemistry of cosmetics. I love the biology of beauty. I love that stuff. But I'm also recognizing that that's more science than it is art or creativity. So again, even in the makeup world, I feel like I don't belong because everyone else is doing it for the sake of beauty, and I'm doing it partially for beauty, but partially because I'm fascinated by it. And I honestly don't love glam makeup. I don't do makeup more than once a week. And so I feel like I'm living a lie. I feel like I don't fit in. I could not give a shit about the Louis Vuitton bags or the Gucci belts. And I know that that's not indicative of being in the beauty industry, but I feel like I've been there, I've done that, and it was such a miserable time in my life that I want to just get away from it. But the beauty industry, at least right now, is so crowded with these fancy designer labels and these expectations to be held up to that I have been through and I don't care about anymore because it was not for me and it made me a sad and miserable person. I just feel like I don't fit in. It still brings me back to this place where I feel like I don't fit in. Here's lashes, and I'm like, why am I applying lashes? These are from Tarte Cosmetics, Exterior Glam. They're great because they're vegan, cruelty-free, and this is a formaldehyde releaser-free lash adhesive, which is great. You know, I don't want no formaldehyde by my eyeballs. I'm just gonna pop these eyelashes on. Why do beauty gurus say that? Pop these eyelashes on? Like they don't physically pop. I'm gonna place them on. What, is that too delicate? I don't understand. Again, I don't feel like I fit in here. I think that's the other issue, is that when I started my channel, it was me trying to reach out, be a part of this community, trying to feel like I belonged somewhere because I didn't feel like I belonged in my real life. And as my channel started growing and getting popular, honestly, I got pushed into the beauty section. I feel like I was never beauty. I was acne, and I was skincare, and I was talking about some of these things, and if anything, I was the modeling industry. But I got looped into this beauty space, and I felt the need to conform to that. And like, I went out and I shopped my way to way too much makeup debt, and I invested in so much makeup. Just to try to be a part of this community. And again, buying the purses, buying the items that I thought would make me fit in and made me valuable. Because if I was not valuable as a human being, at least I had monetary value. So therefore, when someone challenged my worth, or when acne challenged my worth, I could hold up a stupid handbag and be like, well, this is worth $2,000, so I must be worth at least that much. horrible. I mean, in the video, I literally was like, hi guys, this is my acne routine, just so that you could see that I was trying to have some sort of monetary worth. I've spoken about materialism very briefly in the past, but like for me, it got bad. Before I would I had an issue with shoplifting because when I was in high school, lunch money doesn't pay for your designer jeans, and my parents did not get me a fancy car. My parents did not get me fancy jeans like every other kid in my school did. And therefore, I was just even less cool. But I had an issue with that. And I would literally count the amount of dollars that I was wearing before I went to school every day, down to my underwear and my socks. And oh, it pains me to talk about because it's so stupid, and I look at how broken I was and how confused I was. I would buy used clothing and used shoes off of eBay. They were like Juicy Couture or Coach so that I could try to feel worth something. And if I was wearing less than $500, I wouldn't walk out the door. And again, that could have been secondhand, it could have been stolen, but like I was emotionally distraught. I was lost, I was obsessed, and I felt worthless, and I had to make up for that in what I lacked. And so again, as the beauty community is here, and as we have this community, I almost feel like I don't fit in because I don't want to buy the designer things. But like, I'm gonna tell you a secret, all of these influencer parties, as fun as they are and as amazing as these people are, a lot of it is, what are you wearing? Where'd you get this? What designer is that? What did you wear to the Met Gala? Oh, how was it? Who did you rub shoulders with? Are you guys gonna do a collab? Not because you care about each other, but because of how many followers you both have. Is Tana Mojo gonna date Jake Paul because they actually like each other, or because it looks really, really good for view counts? And again, I'm not trying to call people out. I'm not trying to attack people. I'm just saying it as I see it. And again, it's not everybody. There are people who are complete opposite of this, who I love and respect so much. And again, I think everybody can grow. If somebody is in this category, I feel like they can learn and they can improve from that. But at least right now, I'm like, is this really a place I want to be? Because it's playing a game that I don't want to play. I want to sit in skincare, I want to chill in a lab coat, I want to have my microscope, and I want to analyze bacteria that is found on a makeup wand in a lip gloss tube. That's what I want to do. And I understand that in a world of glittery pigments and fake eyelashes, that doesn't exactly align. Yeah, it's both beauty, but they're both very different in how they're approached. You know, and then when it comes to acne, I want to be acne positive, but when I slip up, I feel like I don't belong in that community. I feel like I lose my place, or I don't deserve to be there because I'm going against what this community means. And I'm sure that if I spoke up about it, people would be okay with it and understand. I just haven't had the courage to speak up because that's how I feel. Hi, Cinnamon. Come here, baby. Okay, fine. Don't love me. This is a lip gloss from Urban Decay. It's called Hot Love. It's for their Pride collection, or I think it's for Pride collection. They're actually donating proceeds throughout the month of June, which is really sweet. What I like about this is that it is non-sticky, but it tastes like mint. Oh my God, it's so good. Ooh, this one has like a little pearly, purple iridescent. And if you guys want, we've actually done a couple giveaways of these. I'm giving away a couple more. So if you're not on Instagram or Facebook, where are you at? I'm going to set this with this setting mist. And I really want, this is an Omni Free Radical Defense setting mist. So again, it's like skincare and makeup. This is what I love. Like, why would I wear makeup when I could have makeup that acts as skincare? It's what I live for. And again, I don't want to waste product. I don't want to take a shower in this. I love me some Jeffree Star ever since 2006. Plastic surgery slumber party on MySpace. I was on that MySpace train. I was on that jam. But as much as I love Jeffree, I don't want to take a shower in a $500 setting spray. That's just not me. And I'm just like, where do I fit in? When it comes to the acne positivity movement, do you feel like it's all that positive, or do you feel like it does have these boundaries of exclusivity? Is it all in my head, or is it for real? And as a community, how can we do better? How can we stand up for those who don't have their voice yet or who haven't found it yet? How can we lead by example to show that our past doesn't define us, it shapes us into who we are, and we change that and take that forward every day? How do we do that as a society? And in a world of likes and social media and double taps and swipe rights, how can we get people to judge us for who we are on the inside, not for what we look like? That's how I feel. Here's another video on my back acne breakout, and here's another video about the confidence that I struggled with acne. Always remember to be beautiful inside and out, and I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Wow, derp, I totally forgot to do my eyebrows.